Roman art is an excellent indicator of what mattered to people in Roman times. The changes were reflected in simple things like hairstyles and dress, and in more complicated things like housing, places of worship, and imperial monuments. Changes in taste can also be seen in portraiture. The original Latin people who settled Rome came from north of the Alps prior to 1000 BC. Etruscans moved into the area north of Rome. During the 7th century BC, Etruscans moved south into Latin territory and took over the rule of Rome. In 509 BC, the Etruscan kings who had been ruling Rome were tossed out by the Latin populace. 200 years before Christ, they controlled all of Italy and the entire Mediterranean coast in Europe and in part of North Africa. The Latins were a bourgeois agricultural people. They remained basically unsophisticated, practical, and earthbound. The art form in which they made their most distinctive contribution was architecture, the most utilitarian of the arts. The invention of concrete and the use of the arch on a monumental scale enabled them to build roads, bridges, and amphitheaters on a scale never before contemplated. Like many basically middle-class societies, great size and scope were valued above painstaking detail. The idealized innocence of the Greek face contrasts dramatically with the careworn Roman face. The Greeks sought the ideal. The Romans preferred the ordinary and everyday. The Greeks used analogies of man and God to describe historical events. The Romans preferred to see the actual events in complete everyday factual detail. The Romans had a terrific knack for organization. The organization of the Roman Republican government is still a model for modern societies. The loyalty of the well-organized and efficient Roman armies also contributed to the stability of the early republic. The Romans allowed conquered peoples to maintain their way of life almost completely intact. Roman religion amounted to superstitious nature worship. During the imperial period after the death of Christ, Christianity began to threaten the personality cult that surrounded the emperor. From that time, the Roman leaders tried to control religion and make it a tool of the state. The Romans showed their tolerance for foreign religious practices and tolerance for foreign ideas in general. It was a significant virtue of Roman civilization. The Romans consciously returned to their acknowledged masters in the fields of art and culture, the ancient Greeks.